Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cutting through the noise to find the single undeniable truth behind, well, behind extraordinary success. We're going small to achieve big.
Which sounds like a contradiction, really.
Totally, but we're taking that wisdom from the old Russian proverb to heart. If you chase two rabbits, you will not catch either one.
And that idea of singular focus, that's really the engine of our mission today. We are focusing on the one thing, this deceptively simple concept that separates great results from merely good ones.
So the objective for you, the listener, is to walk away with a clear, actionable path toward massive productivity.
But to find that path, you first have to clear out the weeds, the stuff that gets in the way.
I always think of that scene from the movie City Slickers. You know, where Curly holds up one finger and says the secret of life is one thing, just one thing.
Right. And the immediate question is always, okay, but what is the one thing? Our sources make it clear. The world is constantly trying to obscure that answer with just bad information.
Misinformation.
Exactly. So we have to identify and banish these 6 powerful lies that sound like common sense, but are actually, keeping you small and distracted.
Okay, so let's start with the foundation. The pure geometric power of focus. Because if you want extraordinary results, you have to really internalize that success is sequential. It's not simultaneous.
And there's no better way to visualize this than with a simple domino.
The domino effect.
The domino effect applied directly to your ambition. Back in 1983, a physicist named Lorne Whitehead demonstrated this incredible power of sequential growth. He found that a single domino can topple another domino that's 50% larger than itself.
50%, that's not linear.
It's a terrifying geometric progression of power. It really is.
So just to put that in perspective, a 50% increase at every single step, that scale, it's hard to even grasp.
It is. If you start really small, say a 2-inch domino, the progression is almost unbelievable. By the 10th domino, it's already as tall as an NFL quarterback.
Okay.
By the 18th, it would tower over the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
But wait, the numbers get insane, right?
They do. The 23rd domino, according to this model, would be taller than the Eiffel Tower.
And it just doesn't stop there.
Not even close. The 31st domino would loom almost 3,000 feet above Mount Everest. And if you could actually set up the 57th domino in that chain, it would practically bridge the entire distance from the Earth to the moon.
To the moon, from a 2-inch domino.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does this actually mean for someone just trying to get through their Tuesday to-do list?
It means that the goal isn't doing 57 different things. It's about having the clarity and the focus to find the lead domino, the one right action, and then putting all your energy into knocking that one over first.
And when you hit that first piece,
everything else becomes a cascade.
And success leaves clues that this applies, everywhere. Look at business. KFC wasn't built on a dozen concepts. It was built on one singular secret recipe.
Right, or Coors. They focused on one single product, one beer, and grew 1,500%.
Even the modern titans operate this way. Google's perpetual one thing is search. Search is the lead domino that makes their entire advertising engine even possible.
And Apple is a great case study in how that one thing can evolve. From 98 to 2012, it shifted sequentially. First, the Mac to save the company, then the iMac, then iTunes, the iPod, and finally
the iPhone.
The iPhone. The question they're always asking isn't what should we do next, it's what's our one thing now?
And it's not just for corporations, even the most successful people. No one is truly self-made.
Not at all. Walt Disney had his brother, Roy, who handled all the business and financial stuff. Sam Walton had his father-in-law, who quietly financed all the expansion leases.
That's right. Or Oprah Winfrey. She had her agent, Jeffrey D. Jacobs, who persuaded her to create Harpo Productions so she could own her content instead of just being talent for hire.
Finding that one key person, that human lead domino, changes everything. But that kind of clarity requires extreme prioritization. And the first thing we have to eliminate is the mental trap that sabotages that focus.
Which brings us to lie number 1. Everything matters equally.
Ah, yes, the big one.
We all fall for this. We make these sprawling, disorganized to-do lists. Our sources call them survival lists because they're just inventories of everything we think we should do to stay afloat.
But achievers operate differently. They use what's called the success list. It's a list built with extreme priority, created around achieving one extraordinary result. And the key to that is the Pareto principle.
The 80-20 rule.
The famous 80-20 rule. Joseph Juran applied Pareto's finding that 80% of Italian land was owned by 20% of the people to management. A minority of your effort creates the majority of your results.
It's an easy concept to grasp, but I think most people stop there.
They do. And what's truly fascinating is what our sources call extreme Pareto. It's applying the 80-20 rule again and again and again.
Wait, extreme Pareto, so you apply the 80-20 rule to the 20%.
Exactly. You keep drilling down. So if you brainstorm 100 ideas, 80-20 gets you to 20. Do it again, you're down to 4. One more time, and you're at the essential one.
The one idea that has the most leverage.
In the example from our source, it was writing a national best-selling book. That one action had more impact than the other 99 combined. It's the power of going small.
That kind of clarity is essential, but it runs headfirst into a massive cultural obsession, which is lie number 2, multitasking.
The great myth of multitasking.
We're all conditioned to believe juggling is a sign of productivity, but the research it proves it's an illusion.
It is absolutely an illusion. I mean, multitasking is the wrong word. You're not focusing on 2 things at once. You're task switching. Your attention is just bouncing back and forth.
But it feels productive. If I'm managing emails during a conference call, I feel like I'm getting more done. Where's the cost?
The cost is huge. A Stanford professor, Clifford Nass, his research showed that high multitaskers were, and I'm quoting, outperformed on every measure. They were suckers for irrelevance.
And that translates to lost time.
A lot of it. Researchers estimate we lose about 28% of an average workday just to this ineffectiveness. The average worker gets interrupted every 11 minutes, so that 28% is just the cost of never truly locking in on your one thing.
Wow. And the most dangerous example is driving. Even a hands-free call, which we all think is fine, takes a 40% bite out of your focus. It's like being drunk.
Multitasking is just an expensive lie. And if that's a lie, what about pure grit? We often assume the solution is just more discipline, which leads us to lie number 3, a disciplined life.
Right. We tell ourselves we need to be disciplined across the board all the time. But the sources argue that success isn't a marathon of discipline. It's a short sprint.
A selected sprint. Successful people aren't disciplined in every area of their lives. They've just focused their energy long enough to build a handful of really powerful habits.
And once it's a habit...
it requires way less willpower or discipline to maintain.
Oh, how long is that sprint? That's the key question.
Well, University College of London studies give us a great benchmark. They found it takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. The range is wide, sure, 18 to 254 days, but 66 is that sweet spot.
2 months. That's a clear target. 2 months of focused discipline to automate something.
Exactly. And that focused effort creates a halo effect. Acquiring just one positive habit like regular exercise can lead to all these unexpected benefits. Less stress, less impulsive spending, better decisions. That one habit simplifies your life.
And that leads us right into the next lie, which is related. Lie number 4. Willpower is always on will call. I love the analogy for this.
It's a good one. Willpower is a limited, finite, but renewable resource. It's just like your cell phone battery.
When you wake up, it's at 100%. But as the day goes on, every decision you make drains that battery.
And we saw this proved out in the classic marshmallow test. The kids who could delay gratification, the high delayers, they had SAT scores 210 points higher on average. They instinctively knew how to conserve that mental energy.
And there's real biology here, too. It's not just a metaphor.
Not at all. The brain consumes about 1/5 of all the calories we burn. If you don't refuel with the right stuff glucose from complex carbs and proteins, your willpower just depletes.
And when it gets low, we revert to our defaults.
Perfectly shown in a study of Israeli parole judges. Their rate of granting parole peaked at 65% right after a break when they were rested and fed.
And by the end of the session,
it plunged to near 0. They just defaulted to the easiest answer, no. Their decisions were governed by blood sugar, not pure logic.
So the takeaway is incredibly clear. Do your one thing first thing in the morning when your willpower battery is full.
Use your most precious resource on your most important work. And prioritizing that one thing, well, it forces us to confront lie number 5, a balanced life.
Ah, yes, the myth of balance. The sources argue it's this unattainable pipe dream. Life is really a constant act of counterbalancing.
That concept is so important. The problem with trying to live in the middle, giving equal time to everything, is that the magic happens at the extremes. You can't get extraordinary results by shortchanging everything a little bit.
You have to go all in on something.
Right. And you do that by managing your time in 2 different buckets, work and personal. For your professional success, your one thing, you have to be out of balance for long periods, that sprint we talked about.
But the personal bucket is different.
Completely different. Your spirit, your health, family, friends, Those require tight, constant counterbalancing. You have to shift attention daily, even hourly, to protect those things.
The author James Patterson had a great analogy for this.
I love this one. He said, work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it bounces back. But your family, health, friends, integrity, those are glass balls?
You drop one of those and it shatters.
So extraordinary results demand you go out of balance at work. The question isn't if, but for how long before you come back to make sure those glass balls are safe.
Okay, that brings us to the final lie, and maybe the most damaging one. Lie number 6. Big is bad. The sources call this megaphobia.
It's this irrational, often subconscious fear of thinking big or achieving big success. We build this artificial ceiling of achievement right over our heads. We avoid the big opportunities because they feel overwhelming.
But thinking big is the launch pad. If you aim small, your actions will be small and your results will be small.
Look at Sabir Bhatia, who co-founded Hotmail. He came to the US with $250 and was convinced he could build a business faster than any in history. And his mentor said that Hotmail's success, which sold for $400 million, was directly tied to the gargantuan size of his dream.
Thinking big just frees you up to ask different questions.
It opens doors you didn't even know were there, which is the truth. Think big, but achieve it by going small. And this is where we get the ultimate tool for that, the focusing question.
The ultimate success habit.
Here it is in its full, precise structure. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary?
That structure is so specific. It's engineered for leverage. What is the one thing I can do forces you to focus on action.
Then the middle part, such that by doing it, sets a really high bar. But the last part is the key. Everything else will be easier or unnecessary. That's the ultimate leverage test. It tells you when you found the true lead domino.
And this question, it does double duty.
It does. On the big picture level, it's your strategic compass. What's my one thing for my career in the next 5 years? That guides your long-term vision.
But it's just as powerful on the small focus level. It becomes your tactical compass. What's my one thing right now?
That's how you find the one thing you need to do in the next hour to actually move the needle. You can reframe it for any area of your life. For your finances, what's the one thing I can do this month to increase my income such that by doing it, and so on.
Let me ask you this. If I have 3 big goals right now, start a business, learn a language, and run a marathon, how does the question stop me from just picking the easiest one?
That's the beauty of that last clause. Easier or unnecessary. It forces you to find the one with the highest consequential impact. Which of those 3, if you did it, would simplify the others? Maybe starting the business provides the money to hire a trainer and take time off for the language.
It forces you to think about leverage.
Always. Which one creates the cascade?
So we've banished the lies. Everything does not matter equally. Multitasking doesn't work. We don't need constant discipline, just targeted habits. Willpower isn't unlimited. Balance is a myth. And big is not bad.
And we've found the truth. Success isn't about all the things you do. It's about the handful of things you do exceptionally well. The focusing question is the habit that turns that survival list into a success list.
Okay, so here's a provocative thought for you to take away this week. If no one really knows their ultimate ceiling for achievement, what is the biggest, most audacious goal in your career, your health, your life that you have postponed simply because you are afraid of the big? It might be time to stop building that artificial ceiling and start asking your one question.